Come on, let's go. Finish him off. If you can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me.
Said to kill the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our label to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too sharp, I stay on my toes. About that guap boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dollars rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grinding cause we all came from hunger pain.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into that. We'll definitely get into that. So with that said, welcome. How are you? It's nice to see your beautiful, sunshiny faces. We are here to, of course, talk about the one, the only, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Now, I'm not about myself. Welcome, NERDSoul, Hip Hop and Geek. We do what we do, but, all right, I'm joined by two other people that enjoy this show, and maybe a small hero as well. But over here, we have Jay Shearer. Say what's up.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay Shearer from the Story Geeks. I do not know enough about all of the lore surrounding Rings of Power, so I'm just here to talk about the story elements of it, and I'll let other people handle the rest of it. But yes, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cool. And down below, we have the one and only cinematic sorcerer, Solar Gray. What's up?
Bling, bling, oh power. Don't worry about not knowing the lore. That is why I am here.
Perfect.
If you've been watching the channel, I have been starting a refresher journey on just Hobbit stuff and Lord of the Rings stuff. And I've been asking questions for all my Tolkien peeps out there. If y'all can help me out, help me learn, that'd be great. If you're one of those gatekeepers, well, I guess you're not going to answer it anyway. So, but besides that, because there's a whole lot of questions that I have about the show, about the universe. But with this episode, I'm going to start off with this. I'll start off this and I'll throw it out. Whoever wants to start talking about this, go ahead. And just so you know, if you're new to NERDSoul, the reviews, we kind of barbershop it up and just hang out. I'll put down this quote or a paraphrase of this quote. This is the land the elves gave you. First thing, elves ain't give us all right? We earn this. I was like, man, okay, when you come in, it's like, all right, we're going to talk to the queen. Just be cool, just chill out, and then, hey, you know what I'm saying? We might be all right, just kind of be all right, just relax. Homegirl, Galadriel, all right, I already know I don't like characters like this, but because you can't be mean to everyone and then like great things always happen. But like, no matter what, she just starts out like, oh, this is what the elves gave you. I was like, really? So this is how you're gonna start? This is the queen, could just have us beheaded anytime, but we're supposed to be, hey guys, you know, I mean, we was hurt, you know, it was on an accident. You know, what's his name? Hallbrook or whatever the other guy's name is. He's trying to be cool. He's like, you know, well, I think she's trying to say. But I'll throw that out there. Jay, Solar, go ahead.
Oh, please, you go, Jay. You go, because once I start, I don't stop.
Well, so I don't know. Again, this goes back to like, what is Galadriel? What is Galadriel's journey going to be? Who is she? Who is she becoming? We know who she ends up being in the other movies, right? But we don't know who she is right now, and clearly she has a very distinct goal orientation around I need to accomplish something. But maybe her character development's not all there, right? Maybe she needs other elements of her character to start, coming into fruition before we really understand who she's all about and how she ends up being. But I do think you could make an argument based on Galadriel in Lord of the Rings. You could make an argument that she's never really been a person who's like outrageously kind and compassionate. You know what I mean? Like it's not like how you would describe her per se. So I thought that her in this episode, or her role in this episode, was pretty interesting, but it also seemed fairly downplayed to me. Like, you got that scene that you're talking about, we got that scene that you referenced, but this was really all about more like introducing more new elements. We still aren't done with the setup of the show, right?
Yeah,
like,
we're not.
We're just getting new elements constantly. And so I think for a person like me, like, I'm constantly texting my brother, because my brother is like Solar, where he knows the stuff, right? Like, he's read the stuff, he knows the stuff. I'm like, what are they talking about, dude? I don't understand it. And then he lets me know. So I want to hear what Solar has to say.
All right. So when I was watching this episode, I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I wonder if this is directorially being filmed through the eyes of Galadriel, because people aren't that big of jerks on the planet of Arda, as it were. Okay. And this is really important because to answer your question, Mike, one, the high elves like Galadriel, like Elrond, like Gil-galad, okay, not Glorfindel, because Glorfindel's the man, but yeah, and your boy Thranduil are, how do we say this down south? I don't know, I live in LA, but what I heard was I think the word is uppity. Okay, because here's essentially the way it works. Okay, last week I gave you a little crash course on the lore, so we're going right back to Eru Iluvatar, god of gods. All right, this is the god Big G. All right, Big G god. Number one, there were when God Big G was making the planet, it was flat at the time. And he was making a song and all that stuff. He was crafting the perfect being. And it's actually funny because I think it was either Manwë or Olmo got a little impatient and made his own, and that's where the dwarves come from. And this comes out important in the lore, because the dwarves are like, yeah, no, I do my thing, and Iluvatar was like, you did a good job, but they are going to be clashing with my creations, because I just made some creations, and my creation shall be the prettiest and the smartest and the longest lived and all that other stuff. So essentially, the elves are like the chosen, like they are the ones, right? So they come out, and when they were made, all right, when they were made by Eru Iluvatar, God Big G, all right, all the other races was made by God Lil G. Okay, but God Big G made Eru Iluvatar, which is why, if you notice, the elves only show respect and camaraderie with the wizards, and pretty much the other stuff that was made by God Big G or Eru Iluvatar. So everything that came after Eru Iluvatar, or after the elves, were like, you ain't us, you ain't. Now, here's the thing. That whole gift of the elves, that was a bunch of BS. Now, she didn't have to go there with the attitude, because Yeah. What they keep talking about is the War of Wrath. Okay. The war that tumbled Morgoth. Okay. Sauron's boss. All right. And now that you're rewatching the other stuff, you're saying, oh my God, the enemy with yeah, the dude that made him was with the last war. And the humans in the South went on his side. And I'm sure you've noticed the problematic features of the Tolkien works, which is your species determines your character. So if you're an elf, you are good and holy and blah blah blah.
And and I guess being arrogant and elitist is also part of good people. But I mean,
Well,
you know, I mean,
because
whatever.
here's the thing, and this is where, make no mistake, I hate elves. Okay, I hate elves in fiction. All right, but you're a Trekkie. Vulcans are based on elves. Okay, and you know Spock was the coolest one. But they're the ones who they know they were made by God Big G, and they don't believe in all the God little G's. They know all the God little G's, like Manwë and Olmo and all the other seven of the Valar kicked it. They would come over for lunch. They'd be at the cookout. All right. So just think about this. You and your family, you and your people are made by God Big G. And then all the saints come over for ribs and potato salad. You'd be a little bit arrogant. And the thing is, in the War of Wrath, the men that stayed faithful to God's Lil G were given the island of Numenor when they won the War of Wrath. That was the blood and sweat that she was talking about. Now, Galadriel's like, well, you know, you wouldn't have this if it wasn't for us, which is only, it's like that 5 degrees true. You know, like you and your girl buy a house, and that guy that introduced you to your girl takes credit for the house that y'all bought together because he introduced y'all. That's pretty much what it is. You know.
Okay.
But at the same time, which was established in the first episode, elves don't look at time like everybody else does. So it was like, yeah, no, I introduced y'all. They gave us this island. That only happened like last week. And I was like, nah, son, that happened like 1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago.
Many ages ago.
Yeah.
Even though I still like the part of the show that gives us the map. Because even though the map, I'd like to zoom out from the map a little bit to be like, okay, where is everything? Because y'all keep talking about stuff. Like, I want to know, show me the whole map real quick. And
I'll
then
look you up if you need a map.
Give me the Google Maps version where I can pinch and zoom real quick. And then
I put my little guy down there in the South Run. All right. So, and now to answer your question, with who is she in her journey and stuff like that, given the elves' lifespan, and this show takes place 4,000 to 6,000 years before Fellowship of the Ring, Galadriel is that person you met at work that's good at her job, but has only been out of college for like a year and a half. You know, and they haven't had a good dressing down. They haven't been fired from enough jobs. They still give excuses when they're late instead of saying it's not going to happen again and getting back to work. That's where she is.
Like hopped up on theory when it's like, we don't do that. But you're supposed to. I know we're supposed to, but we don't do that.
Yeah, except she's been crushing it with theory, you know. So like I said, she's doing good at the job and has been doing it for the first 2 years, but that big account ain't came yet. Like, she was with the last big account, but she was like in discovery or you know, and documentation. She was making copies, you know, she wasn't talking to the clients. You know, but she was like, I was on that case that settled for blah 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 blah. And people are like, oh my God, she was on that case. Yeah, that was the whole thing. In the same sense of you were at this battle And and it was like, yeah, I mean, I was a private, I was on the line. I wasn't a general. I wasn't in the front line. Actually, I was in the war, but I never really left the boat. That's kind of where she's at right now.
Those are great analogies. So let me run this question by you too, because this is one thing I'm wondering about. Since she is early on in her career, and that's like a perfect way of describing it. Why'd they try to send her to the western or the eastern shores of the Elfland? Like why did they try to get rid of her like that?
We talked about this last week a little bit. It's like promoting up because again, being the lore guy, Galadriel's always been a problem.
Okay.
Because she's like a pit bull. Once she gets an idea going, she's just like, and she's like, and essentially Gil-galad, one of the 4 elves I respect in all of the lore, was like, you know what, Galadriel, you did good. You led your strike team. You did that whole thing. You know what? I'm gonna reward you. In the same way Captain Janeway was promoted to admiral at the end of Voyager. Like, yeah, let's put you behind a desk. Because we know if you out there in the field, you gonna keep looking for trouble. And she's like, I'm never going to give up the hunt for Sauron. It's like, but you can retire now. So we will give you a retirement. Here is your golden umbrella. Take some time in the south of France. Do some gambling. Meet some dudes. Yeah, that would be good. I.e., stop causing trouble. So that was the big thing. She was being promoted out of his hair.
Yeah.
Now, one thing. Let me throw this out there. Is Halbrook, and it's Halbrook, right? I think it's Halbrook. Halberd. Sorry, so Halberd. Is Halberd just basically Aragorn? Like, cause it's like I was like, come on, y'all, like y'all did this one before. Like it's okay to have a regular guy like the everyman end up being like, super sweet. Like even when he was like pretending, like, oh man,
well,
I'm scared of y'all surrounding me. I was like, action sequence in 3, 2. Well, okay, there you go.
On one hand, he's Aragorn. My personal theory is he is one of the Nazgul.
Oh. And what is that?
Well, the whole thing is set in the South, right? And this is why I'm like, good, we get to go see that, because we ain't never, not once in all the lore that I know, explore that part of the world. What we know about the Southrons and the Easterlings is in the movies, they were the ones with the boats, which were the Black Corsairs. They were the ones with the cool helmets that kind of came to a point and then went back in. And they were the ones riding elephants. He's the king of the ones that were riding elephants. Like, that's his country. That's where this whole show is set. And essentially, again, during the War of Wrath, that side got took by Morgoth and ended up fighting on his side. That's why he's like, oh, yeah, I'm out. But I'm glad you brought up the Aragorn comparison, because since the success of Lord of the Rings in 2001, the PJ trilogy, every time they've put Lord of the Rings on the thing, we're getting that formula. We're getting our Bilbo, we're getting our Aragorn, we gonna have a Legolas, there's gonna be a love triangle. That's just how it's gonna go.
So kind of just get used to that.
I mean, you're like, man, is this guy just another Aragorn? In the same way that Thorin was turned into Aragorn for the Hobbit movies, or half of Aragorn was turned into Thorin, the other half was Bard of Lake Town, which neither one of them in the Hobbit book, 300 pages, that's it. I'm like, we don't need a movie per 100 pages, but all right, thanks, Warner Brothers.
You know how it is. It must be a trilogy.
And I'm like, 1, make it a duology, and 2, only make it 90 minutes long. That way you get more screenings and people go see it more often. Yeah, that's it. Honestly, 1 3-hour movie would have been enough. But then I'm the dude that grew up on the Rankin and Bass animation from 77. Yeah. That was like an hour and 10 minutes, you done.
Yeah, good. So I got a theory about this guy too, because I think that this dude is going to be the dude who is the blacksmith for the rings.
He's not.
He's not.
Oh, he's not?
That
Oh,
is
they kinda
very
hinted at
clear. They would not go too far from the lore.
that. Okay.
The lore made it very clear
Okay.
that the 3 elven rings were made by Celebrimbor. Okay. That was the dude that Elrond went to talk to. Be like, wait, you need me to build a tower?
Yeah. Okay.
He
makes the
made
elven rings.
Yeah, he makes Narnia, Ninya, and Elquia.
Okay.
And again, god damn, I'm that guy.
No, I love it.
But the other 17 were made specifically by Sauron. Okay, that was he did that. He made those rings, and then he made the one ring, and he poured like 40 to 60% of his soul into the one ring. So think about it. If you're a Harry Potter fan, think about them like Horcruxes.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like, yeah, you can kill my body, but that ring's still there. Cool. All right, I'm reconstituted. Now I want the rest of me back.
I'm back.
That was the
But
word.
this guy's got to make some sort of thing, right? Because every time he walks by like a blacksmith shop, he's like, oh, like
I can make weapons so great. He'll probably end up making like Mjolnir or something like some super cool hammer or something.
Well, that is
or some super cool sword. They'll be like, this is the best sword we've ever seen.
He might be the one that crafts the mace of Sauron.
Oh, got it.
You know, from the prequel. Wipe my arm and a wave of people go away. Now wipe it again. Wave of people going away. I'm like, man, can I get this guy to clean my house? Trash.
That makes sense. So he's not going to make anything for like Galadriel or anything like that. Like,
thing is, I don't know. I don't know because I don't recognize him from the lore. Now the other thing, and this goes back to Galadriel. I'm not justifying, okay? I'm not justifying, and I know because see, when I'm on this show, Mike is like, man, there you go again. Now, the thing is, the first king of Numenor, all right, was a very good friend of Galadriel. Okay. It was Elrond's older brother was the first king of Numenor. So, and that was Eldor. Eldor was the first king. And, you know, since Elrond and Eldor have human blood, thanks to Beren and Luthien from a different time, it's the whole thing. You know, they can choose to either stay an elf or become a person. Eldor chose to become a person, and that's where the Dunedain essentially spawned from. Those are the kings of Numenor and the queens of Numenor. That's why they're long-lived. That's why they know magic. That's why they're good with boats. That's why she's like, nah, these men are not like y'all. Because essentially they're better. You know, because you know they got that eugenic advantage of having all that good elven stock in them, you know. Which is why he's like, I can't believe men like me could make a place like this. And she's like, they ain't like you. Nah, bro, they get this from my side of the family.
Okay.
You know?
But let's I want to talk about the Littlefoot people or whatever. The
almost hobbits.
They're a type of hobbit, right? Are they a type of hobbit or are they like a whatever? They little people. All right. They're real little. And you know, okay. We're at the point, girl, you know, everything gets found out. Here comes the big guy. Well, he's not big, he's like a regular sized guy, but to them, he's like a giant.
Oh, so no, anyway, he's a big dude.
Oh, he is? Oh, okay. So
like if you look at his proportions and stuff, he's about 6'8".
Oh, okay. Well, he's super tall, but they're also super little. So anyway,
exactly.
They find him out and they're like, you know, she gotta go, she gotta be decaravaned and all this. And I'll throw this out to Jay first. What do you think? This is what I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
You got the cackling hens. They like, decaravan, she did this, she did, and the dude is like, she's young. She's, she doesn't have hair on her feet or something. I don't know, something crazy. But anyway, here's the thing.
Yeah.
She was old enough to deceive y'all. She was old enough to steal this paper. She was old enough to do this. She was old enough to do that. Old enough to sneak around. Old enough to blackmail her friend.
Yeah.
Old enough to get some consequences now. This is how it is. Once you get to a certain age, and I know people be like, oh, well, he's young or she's young. It's like, but they were old enough to do this. So there's got to be but they did put him in the back. They did put him in the back. They did put
him in the back with a broken foot. Because old man was there. Yeah. And here's the thing. I know you're saying that now, but you're going to be talking a different tune in about 8 years. Because...
you trust me, you don't know me that way. When it comes to family, I don't make distinctions. You can ask my brother, my mom. I'll make them distinctions.
Hear me out. All right. Because she old enough to do all that stuff, but simultaneously she's still 13. And when them cackling hens were talking about, they were talking about decaravanning, which is essentially breaking off from the group, losing all protection, all resources. The whole family, bro. It wasn't she was about to be decaravan. Her mama, her grandmama, her new stepmom, her dad, everybody she's associated with, it's like all y'all gone.
So also I gotta throw out there though that I don't think it's just that. Yeah, they all said that. All those ladies said that, like, we gotta decaravan. But there's something about the leader of that tribe. He keeps going back to his own lore, his own books, and he's looking at all of the prophecies, basically, right? And so I think he's seeing it differently, because I think he's seeing like the prophecies being fulfilled, and I can't just like kick these people out of my caravan if they're involved in the prophecy and how it's supposed to be fulfilled.
I'm definitely glad you brought that up, because that also comes back to policy. Because it's like, normally I would kick out the whole family, but so like on the compassionate level, it's like, you know what? Your kid shouldn't get your whole family thrown in jail. And that's exactly what it was. This is why I'm saying you're going to be singing a different tune in 8 years, because when your kid is 13 and he gets caught stealing apples from the apple cart, you shouldn't be put in jail for 35 years to life, bro. And that's essentially what they were doing, because teenagers, as much as I love them, are stupid.
As much as I love them.
I do. I love teenagers, but God, are they stupid. And essentially, Nori is essentially a dumb teenager. Like, her heart's in the right place, but she's doing dumb stuff.
Homegirl took them around a straight up wolf. And I was like, you know what? Yo, what if a couple of those kids got picked off, yo? Then it's like, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? She made a little mistake. You know what I'm saying? No big deal. Mama said don't go out there. She went out there anyway. She saw a wolf. You think after that she'd be like, you know what? Let me chill out. Then here come the Meteor Man. All right. And now Meteor Man comes down and she's like, you know what? I will help him. I'm like, all right, well, I can see in this episode, even her friend be like, okay, look, we helped him. Let him be. Nah, I mean, look, he's helped now. He's up. He's well. Now you can let him go on his journey. Whatever he got to do.
I challenge you to think back to junior high, though. Okay. Now, make no mistake.
See, it's hard for me because I was the friend that was like, nah, y'all go on your own. I was like,
I know.
No, you go, because my mom will kill me.
I get it.
You have no ideas how many times I said, my mom will kill me. Y'all go. Y'all go.
I can see it. I can see it because you were.
I'd be on my bike. They'd be like, let's ride our bikes over there. I'd be like,
let me know how I'm going home. Out.
I'm going back home.
But yeah, so like, real talk, I'm like, I remember being in junior high. I remember the stupid stuff that we did. And back in my old days, like, me and my boys were like the young guns, and they looked at me and they're like, you're like Thievez. I'm like, no, I'm more like Doc. I'm the guy that goes along to make sure that whoever is thinking about calling the cops doesn't, that was the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, her friend is sitting up going, nah, we helped him. We gotta go. We gotta, man, all right, you know what? Cause, and let's be real, bro. Let's seriously be real. I just met you, Jay, but I'm pretty sure we can all identify with how many whoopings we got for what our parents were afraid the consequences of our actions could have been. Could have been. I'm beating your butt because that could have got me arrested. Don't you understand that I'm legally responsible for what you do at least for another 3 years? You know what I'm talking
At least
about.
for another 3 years.
Like when you're 18, you can go. You can do your own prison time. But while you living in this house,
18 is like, man, I don't know. That boy's crazy.
yeah, exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
but didn't he just become an adult? Like, is it pretty much everything up until like this year all under your tutelage? I don't know, man. I can't call it.
You know what we're missing though in this scenario? We are missing something, and this is the reason why there's like an argument about how this is going down. So season 1, Stranger Things, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, hit me.
Caleb was the guy who said, because I identify with Caleb, and so Mike,
Me
as you're
too.
talking, I'm going like, yeah. That's I can tell Mike is the same as me when we were growing up, because Caleb was the guy I identified with. Because a bunch of people are all like, well, he's not empathetic. He doesn't, and that's not the case. Caleb in season 1.
Hang on, Caleb. I'm thinking Mike.
Oh, Lucas.
Lucas,
The actor's
sorry.
name.
Yeah,
The
Caleb.
actor's name is
Okay,
Caleb.
Lucas. Yeah.
Sorry,
All
my
right,
bad.
I'm with that. All right, cool.
My bad.
Forgot the actor's name is Caleb, but he's the character's name is Lucas. Yeah.
Caleb McLaughlin does such a good job. I just see him as the guy. So Lucas is he's not saying let's get rid of 11 or let's not help 11. What he's saying is we have to do this the right way. We have to go to the police. We have to get the authorities involved. We can't just hide her for no reason. But in this scenario, there's no Lucas. Right?
Yes.
There's only this one girl who's like, just abandon this dude because this dude's crazy and he came from the sky. And then there's the other crew is like, or Nori or whatever is like, no, we must be all in. There's no other competing factor of like, wait a second, there's a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this, even if we help this person. And so that's where it gets kind of like, oh, if we had that third voice, we could see another way of doing it that wasn't just abandoning it.
See, what you're saying reminds me of, again, the formula that we all know, but not by its official name, which is the 4 humors, you know? We now got the Stranger Things kids, but just to make sure that everybody, including all y'all in the chat, don't think I don't see y'all there, can be on the same page. We're talking the Ninja Turtles. All right. We got the Ninja Turtles as the 4 humors. And you're right. Right now, we got Michelangelo and Donatello.
Yeah.
We need a Leonardo and a Raph.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly. Because
even though I love them, it's a bad mix.
But tell me I'm wrong. Like, dude, you gotta help him. He fell out of the sky. Well, that is not a good idea, and that's going to get us in trouble. No. Oh, well, sorry, we thought you left. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. So it wasn't that you left. Okay. Well, I'll tell them you'll be right there. Yeah. That was such a Donatello move.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So what we got is Michelangelo and Donatello, and we got the old man as Lord Splinter, or as Master Splinter. You know, going, oh, I would have thought you have read the book before it caught fire. All right. Well, now go do your backflips. You know, that's what we're talking.
That's right.
And I was watching him read that. I was like, that paper is way too close to the flame. It was almost like he was playing with it. I was like, that paper is dangerously close to.
Okay, so I want to hear Solar's take on this too, because is he acting like that because he's like a newborn baby, or is it because this is such a foreign world to him and he doesn't understand any of it?
If that is who I think it is.
Oh yeah, so we gotta say who we think it is too, because I'm wondering about that myself.
Yeah, I think
it's Sauron. I sincerely think that it's Sauron.
Okay.
If you're thinking
like,
it's
I guess
Gandalf,
like a reborn Sauron or something.
Yeah, because so these things are so powerful that when they get defeated, they just get a lesser form. Okay, just a lesser form. Just like, all right, you know what? I'm a big ethereal spirit. And when you keep in mind that the Balrog and Gandalf were the same rank, when that Balrog got defeated, it came back in a less powerful shell if it was allowed to come back. So Sauron, again, same rank as the Balrog, you know, but you get defeated. He a little shell shock. He's a little punch drunk. He falls down in that human body, you know. And that's what I think. I don't think that it's a wizard because I explained last week the wizards don't get there for another millennium. You know, until the age of man is firmly set. Like the wizards get to Middle Earth after the War of the Ring, where Isildur cuts the ring from Sauron's finger. You know, after and I can't believe I really, really can't believe that these characters were introduced so early. But yeah, after Elendil and Isildur are both, you know, after Elendil dies and Isildur takes up NERDSoul and cuts the ring from the finger, then the wizards get there.
Okay. Now Jenna James does say, didn't Gandalf say in one of the books that he was known in the past as the Stranger?
He was.
So could it be? Maybe.
You know, based
like
on that line,
like a young cut up with abs Gandalf.
Real talk. No,
I was like, yo, he's kind of fit.
Given creative license, yeah, it could be Gandalf. I don't think it is. Honestly, I'm hoping it's Alatar or Palindel because we have never seen those two. But yeah, I mean, it could be Gandalf for fan service because again, it's the same reason Legolas was in the damn Hobbit.
Well, hold on, real quick. We technically haven't had Galadriel's there, and she's like the main character. So I guess that is
it's Galadriel and Elrond, and this is pretty much the time of their post-adolescence, as I call it.
So I guess that's enough fan service on its own. You get those two, that should do. I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think I agree with Solar because I think like if they give us a different wizard, so I've always kind of thought that this could be Radagast because he's kind of like very involved with the animals, and so I was like, okay, well, I mean, Gandalf was too. Gandalf whispers to the moth or whatever it is, right?
You're on the right track because he learned that from Radagast. Radagast is the wizard of animals.
Yeah,
and Gandalf was the wizards of not people.
Okay,
Saruman was the wizard for the men of the West, and Alatar and Palindel were the blue wizards that went east. That's all we know about them. That's blue wizards. They went east. But
I think it'd be cooler if it was one of them because I do think that like. So, we talked about this. I talked about this with Mike when we talked about Kenobi. If you if you wrap the story around too many of the former characters, the story becomes less interesting because we already know their final result.
Star Wars, what? Oh, sorry. It came out, you know.
So for me, I look at that kind of thing and I go, okay, I get it. We're doing prequels now because prequels make audiences show up because you tell us we're going to get Galadriel. You tell us we're going to get Lord of the Rings. I get it. I'm showing up too. I get it. But I don't want it to be such a prequel that it's like everybody from the other thing is now in this thing. So I just hope we get, because I don't know that much about Radagast. I don't know anything about those other two wizards that you talked about. I would love to see
actually them. You do. I just told you everything there is about them in lore.
There's everything to know.
Your names are Alatar and Palindel. They were blue. They went east. That's all the lore. And I'm talking the Silmarillion, the Lord of the Rings, the Lost Tales, the letters. That's all we know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's one of them. But given that in the past, Gandalf was known as the Stranger, it is possible that this is a young Gandalf, you know, a super young Gandalf. But that even messes up the continuity if this is coming off the PJ movies, because Elrond was like, I was there, Gandalf. 1,000 years ago, I was there at Mount Doom. And, you know, but it doesn't mess up Treebeard going, young wizard Gandalf, because the trees were here like first. It was like the mountains, the trees, the eagles, the other animals, then the dwarves, then the elves, and then finally the humans. And kind of the hobbits, because hobbits are kind of like people. I kind of look at them as like prototype people.
I mean, they're all right. Okay, I'll say this about hobbits, and then I'll get into the last thing I want to touch on. All right.
Mhm.
Hobbits. You know what? I'll give y'all some respect. You know what I'm saying? You're little, and you know you got moxie, but I would like to see a little more dwarf energy because,
I think
like,
that's
sooner or later,
coming.
okay, like there's
I
gotta
think
be
that's coming.
there's gotta be some kind of strength in the Hobbit world. But speaking of strength, my most respected being in this universe are dwarves. All right, imagine this.
I can see that.
You
I
the
can see that,
littlest
B.
dude. You the littlest out there. All right, but you don't run from nothing. You know what I'm saying? They ain't never scared. You'll never see them running. You'll never see a scared dwarf. And they little. You got to give them props for that.
Well, no, they ain't little. They stout. There's a
Well,
difference.
well, sorry.
Okay,
Stout.
hobbits are little. Dwarves are just short. You know, and dwarves are the pit bulls of the of the Lotar world. You know, but or the Rottweilers rather. But the thing on that, and I ain't gonna lie, I understand why you dig the dwarves. I really do, because dwarves are all about, look, I'm making my money, leave me alone. Oh, there's something going on over there, but see, that's over there. You want to know what I am? I am not over there.
I'm over here.
When over there gets here, we handle it. Until then, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good.
But it's
I'm
like
good.
you never see them shy away from a fight. They don't retreat. They don't do like I gotta give them the props. I gotta give them the props. You know, it takes them a long time to run places and stuff. and they got all that heavy armor on and they still don't give up. You got they're like the dozers, but just like better dozers.
Bruh, they were essentially carved from stone by their god.
Okay,
Like they are fleshy rock people. That's what they do. They are steadfast. They are tough as nails. You know, and that, I mean, a lot of people forget because he was used for comic relief in the movies, but in the Two Towers, when they're like, hey, let's go hunt some orcs, they were chasing those Urukai for like 2 weeks. And that's a human and an elf running for 2 weeks with no sleep. And there was Gimli. I'm complaining, but he kept up on foot for two. I mean, that whole joke about cross country. Yeah, they were literally running. They ran across a state, bro. A whole state. And there's Gimli right there, full armor, his heavy axe, his 3 light axes. You know, and then when they found him, it was all about that action. You know, all about that action. It was like, oh, we got orcs coming up. Yeah, time to kill them. Oh, look, dude's on horseback. And then when the dudes on horseback showed up, they're like, what?
This is an interesting point from a storytelling perspective, though, because if you look at Tolkien's 2 most popular stories, the hobbits are most certainly supposed to be the what we would call in our world, in the real world, the every people, meaning that they're in the Shire, they're just doing their life, they're just good to go. They're not wealthy like the dwarves. They don't have an empire like the dwarves. They just have their little communities. Same thing with the Hobbit too, right? But they're called into something bigger than them, and they're called into something that they're uncomfortable with, and they're called into something where other people have power, but they don't have any power. All they have is relationships and relational means by which to operate, and their stick-with-itness, right there. I'm going to get the job done.
True power.
Right. Well, exactly.
Well, It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because literally speaking, I'm with you, except they're not the everyman. They are the idealized version of the rule man.
Okay.
The hobbits were literally Tolkien's life goals. You know, he grew up in a little town in London in the late 1800s. And then when he was an adult, he was off to World War I.
Yeah.
So you went from, hey, you know what? This is cool. This is like living 20 miles outside of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And then you go to muddy ground, nothing but bullets, dead bodies everywhere.
Yes.
And then he got home to the Industrial Revolution, thus the whole Saruman thing of tearing down the forest and all that stuff.
Yep.
And he's just like, he just wanted a little house in the country,
Yep.
with his nice little wife, and wanted to do gardening, smoke his pipe, eat his food, and chill.
Yes.
And the whole Hobbit community is about eating your food, working in your garden, smoking your pipe, and chilling.
Yes.
Speaking of eating,
Yeah.
Merry and Pippin, I gotta give them the props. All right. So I'm getting my refresh on. Some of you have seen the videos where I'm asking questions to all my token peeps and everything. Pippin, all right, so they're chilling, and Pippin's like, "Hey man, I'm hungry," and I can't remember who he's like. We already ate.
Yeah, that
He's
was
like, we already
we
ate
had
breakfast. And he said, what about second breakfast? And I was like, you know what? That's amazing. Then later on, like they have crispy bacon in the middle of the night, which, gets them caught by the ring wraiths or whatever. But I was like, it's like, imagine waking up and be like, what are you doing? It's 2 a.m. I'm making crispy bacon. Well, I mean, of course I'll have one, but turn it off.
It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
I mean, of course I'll have a couple of strips of bacon. I mean, you're making it, but it's like second breakfast, it makes perfect sense. Hobbits are living the life. It's like, yo, look, yes, we ate at 8 a.m., but it's 10:30.
It literally is breakfast.
Like, I'm not starving.
Second breakfast. Yeah, well, it's literally breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, lunch, tea, dinner, and supper. So we're talking 7 times.
Yo, hobbits are chilling.
Yeah.
And then in between everything, pipe weed.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And then, but then with that, they're still, when we meet them, well, not when we meet them, but a little bit later, they're like stealing vegetables from us. Like, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, from Farmer Maggot's field. Exactly.
Come on, man.
And then the thing that got him off the freaking road, it was like, oh man, mushrooms are over there. Yeah, mushrooms.
But I think this is actually this backs up the point I was about to make, was that I like Rings of Power, by the way. I'm not against Rings of Power, so I like it a lot. But one of the things I'm missing from it right now, and this conversation is helping this clarify it for me, is that, and Solar, you brought this up earlier in the conversation, but if we're supposed to see the world through Galadriel's eyes, that's a much different perspective than Bilbo or Frodo.
Yes.
So it's weird to get in that mind frame because Nori is not that yet. She's supposed to be that for us or something, but we've already said we don't connect with her that well because personality wise, we're not that much like her. Right?
It's I think it's part of the new storytelling, and you probably know more about this than I do, because of this show consists of 4 stories.
Yeah.
Okay. We got what's Elrond up to?
Yep.
Yeah.
What's Galadriel up to?
Yep.
What is Nori up to?
Yep.
What is, I forgot his name, but
we're talking about him next. I'll pull him up. Hold on.
Yeah. What is he up to? And technically, what's his girl up to? So we got 5.5 stories.
Yeah.
But with that 5.5 story thing, it's each story is told from the perspective. It's very Game of Thrones, the novel, where it's like, when we're in these chapters, this is how we're seeing the story. And I think it's spread about so that everybody can get something.
Yeah.
It's like 20 years ago, when I was very, very young and thought Dennis Miller was funny, I noticed his comedy routine was 10% really good jokes and 90% not written for me. But I noticed everybody in the audience felt that, just about a different 10%.
Yeah.
So and that's what I'm seeing is like, Nori's story is like, hey kids, look, it's a dumb short teenager just like you. Look at all the stuff that you would be doing too, especially since we live in the 21st century and butt whippings are no longer a thing. Now, you action folks, bruh, check out this elf. He's dungeon delving. Look at the rats crawling by his face. Oh, now he's in slavery. Hey, D&D guys, check it out. You know this part. Then we got, hey, women, Look, it's Galadriel. Look, she's doing the
Mm,
Galadriel. Look, she's
mm,
strong, independent woman. You know,
yeah,
and then finally we got the and Tolkien fans. Yeah, check out Elrond's story.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, look, it's Celebrimbor. It's Gilgalad. See?
yeah.
So everybody gets that DiCaprio meme from Wolf of Wall Street that
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So that's what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
so one quick thing about Galadriel, when they went to the western shore or the eastern shore, whatever it was, first, didn't the queen tell him keep her on the palace grounds? Second, why was she looking through those scrolls like it had a Dewey Decimal System? It's just tons of paper everywhere. You ain't gonna find that. It's not like there's a title on it. She was like looking around the scrolls like, ooh, I know this one. But anyway, slide that to the side. The character's name is Arendir or Arondir.
Elendil or Erendil. Yeah.
But that scene, the almost prison break, respect. I like how the orcs are handling the situation with tearing down the trees and stuff. Even though tearing down trees is bad. I mean, depending on why you're tearing it down, I don't know. But for the most part, it's bad. I mean, unless like I don't know.
Well, tearing down the
shortage, but whatever. Anyway,
it's that whole respect for life, man. It's that whole look, man. Let this tree live. This tree's been here longer than us. Yeah.
But
and the orcs are like, and
the beautiful thing was the water scene. I was like, this is what I came for. This is the action I seek. This is, I was
concerned about that because I was watching it. I'm like, oh man, Mike is gonna have a field day. I'm like, here we go with the black character going, no, you run. I'll hold off the wolf. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
I was like, come on, man. I was like, why can't you get to safety? Then I was like, oh snap. Well, I guess it is good. You hung back this time. We didn't know that there were snipers outside.
Yeah. As soon as I'm like, why is he standing there? I'm like,
with arrows in all of these fantasies, it doesn't matter what you watch. It can be Willow is coming back. It can be all these people are like, I guess, Olympic level archers. Like nobody, arrows don't miss. All right. It's like the opposite of stormtroopers. Anyone who picks up an arrow, slam dunk. Or in a show where you see somebody runs up and there's a motorcycle and they just jump on the motorcycle and they can ride it. It's like, like I rode a motorcycle when I was 13. If I jumped on one now, it probably wouldn't work like it does in Mission Impossible, but let it slide.
They say once you learn how to ride a bike, but no, I would argue your point with the Mines of Moria because they were coming out of those walls like cockroaches at your friend's house. You know which one, and they had arrows all over the place. And Legolas was like beep 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 beep, but like
true, yeah, I forgot they were missing him all the time.
Yeah,
but I have a theory that Legolas is magic. I'll probably talk about it in another video. He's got to be magic. I think he's like for those the magic elf. Like
he was for those movies because again
in combat in this series, Legolas could take out armies of these people.
Yeah,
yes,
dude could beat everybody.
Except Gimli.
The jail thing I liked because they used the sun, like knocking down the I guess the canopy or whatever to shine the sun on them, trying to like pull them into the sun, like just using their kind of like ingenuity, and even though they had the chains, using the chains to kind of fight back. I liked how they use it.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of went, all right, yeah, you know what? No, because I'm like, yeah, dig, you pointy-eared bastard. That was me. And I'm like, yeah. See, now you see what it's like for everybody else, huh? Oh, look at you. Something changed. I feel it in the water. Oh, and I'm like, yeah, now dig, toil. And put some respect on your thoughts for people. And because I'm waiting for I'm doing this and I'm getting whipped, and these guys got to do this just for food. We need to teach them to talk to trees, that's what I'm kind of thinking. But yeah, when I saw them use the chain in the very Jackie Chan Hong Kong Kung Fu movie, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll let elves know Kung Fu. Because again, they're teenagers until they're about 125, 130. And you brought up is everybody with an arrow accurate? Bro, what else is there to
and these
do?
are the military dudes, so they like
Yeah.
they're extra like
And seriously,
SOCOM or Rainbow Six.
and
Like
what else is there to do other than breakfast, second breakfast, 11s, lunch, tea, supper, dinner? Other than 7 meals a day, it's not like they on TikTok.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
nothing to do for elves but like, I don't know, like train and just like, I don't know, be arrogant. Like I did 275 push-ups in one sitting. Oh, well, I did 375. Oh, well, I did 462. Like,
Yes.
they have nothing else to do but just like be awesome. Like,
I mean, that's literally like what makes elven made weaponry go. It's like, I'm weaving spells into the thing, and oh my god, that is 3 microns off. It's garbage. All right, next one. And people that aren't elves are going, that's garbage.
or like, here's
It's like
a
being in a
blade
chef's
that
kitchen.
glows when orcs are close. Hey, this is awesome. Shouldn't we make like little like outposts with these like rocks or stone in it, so like when they glow, we can be like, oh snap, here comes some orcs. Sound the alarm. But
they have them in the elven lands. The thing is, I gotta make this clear for a lot of the people that aren't ringers. Middle Earth is a continent. It's really a country. Okay. And real talk, at this point in the story, nobody gives a damn about Middle Earth. Nobody. Numenor is like Atlantis. They got technology, i.e. magic. They got cool. I mean, I really like that they showed us the inner workings of Numenor, but it was a little lackluster for me. But then it's like, I got into the guild, and oh, you're gonna be a sailor, and the sea is never wrong. And I'm like, okay, yeah, island people, that all works. That's kind of cool. I know what's happening in your future, so have fun with that. But and over in the elf lands, bro, they got cell phones, they got magic, they got stuff like literally the sun and the moon were byproducts of their trees. That's the level they're playing at. Okay, first there were like the 2 towers made by the Varda, and then that war. The first War of Darkness happened with Melkor, and he broke them. And then they said, well, we don't have towers. Let's replace them with trees. Trees with a golden light and a silver light. And then Melkor brought in a giant spider. I think its name was Ulgolf or something. I don't know, I'm a little rusty. And he ate the light from them trees. And then they took the fruits of those trees and called them the sun and the moon. So like elves are on that level. They still
don't have to be. They still don't have to be
arrogant
palaces about it.
Yeah, arrogant little rich. Like they're the mean girls. That's what they are. They're the mean girls.
You know what they are? They are the mean girls of this universe.
And the thing is, like Legolas and Thranduil, like those are the wood elves. They are the ones that are more down to earth. Because they're like, hey, I like these forests and all that stuff. Let's set up here. Yeah, this is cool. One of the reasons that I think that Galadriel was as amiable as she was in the Fellowship was she went from, look at me, I'm high elf, I'm hunter of orcs. She had to settle down and build. Oh God. Not enough coffee. Where'd she live? Lothlorien. Yeah. She had to settle down and build Lothlorien in the woods on Middle Earth. I mean, that's big. That's like complaining about your house in Bel Air and then getting a 2-bedroom duplex in Watts. That's what it's like for them. So she was humbled. Especially when they were like, oh no, you already jumped off the boat to go to the Forever Lands. Why you think we gonna let you try and hop on another one? No, this is it. You here. Yeah. And again, if elves stay on Middle Earth and don't go into the shining lands of the West, they essentially become wraiths. They'll live for like thousands and thousands of years, and then they'll just fade away into a breeze. Like that was Galadriel's fate. So by the time she met Frodo, she was getting up there in years, and she's like, well, it was a misspent youth. Oh well. y'all want some pie? Have some pie.
They did treat them to a meal, so you know. But I guess on the I'll throw it to Jay. Is there anything about the whole prison situation? I mean, of course, we got, you know, what is it, Adar or whatever that we're going to meet soon. Of course, they get the fade face. And then, just show us, man. Dang, just show us who he is.
Watch coming next week. Adar.
I literally
next week's exciting episode.
I literally had Martin Lawrence in my head saying, "Come on, man, it's TV." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, it's TV. I'm not watching a film. I'm not watching a film series. It's TV." Yes. That is.
But is there anything that stands out to you about the prison sequence as like stellar, I guess you could say?
Well, I think we needed to see a couple things, right? We needed to see how extensive. There's all these people that were saying the orcs are coming back, that Sauron is coming back. There's things that are happening that are here and now, and all of those people were seen as the outcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what's the name of the dude that what's the name of the dude that's in the prison? That's like our main guy that we're following.
Arendir.
Arondir. Okay. Cool character, by the way.
Very cool.
When I saw him and his and then the human girlfriend that he like kind of is, I'm like, these people would make some beautiful kids. That's all I'm saying.
It's like, but I'm beautiful, you're beautiful. Let's go.
Exactly.
I can't, for my ears are pointy and I'm on a mission.
That's right. So I thought what the prison scene did really well is it kind of showcased that like they're way stronger than anyone thought, except for even the people who were on the outcast people of like, oh yeah, they're coming, it's bad, it's still bad here, we gotta keep watch. The Galadriels and this dude, they're way stronger than anyone could have imagined, and you kind of see how that is, because when the one guy escapes, you're like, oh okay, as soon as he gets to the elves, the orcs are done. Like but then they hit him with the arrows and they're like, oh, there's even more of them than I thought, because I thought these were all underground, but they're all over the place around here.
So this is a full full prison city or something that they got set up.
Yeah,
it's like watching Face Off, like, aha, I finally got out, and you know,
Face Off is crazy.
Yeah,
but really crazy. But I will say this just really quick too. Yeah, I did like that fight scene a lot better than the one you talked about earlier with Halbrand or whatever his name is. But that one was so obvious what was going to happen, and the way it was shot too. There's a difference between film cinematic fight and TV show. We got to have a fight. And in my opinion, film cinematic was the prison fight and TV show fight was the Halbrand fight. So I did like that too, because it showed like the full cinematic experience that you could have watching.
So you're saying there's a difference between Breaking Bad and there's a difference between the Arrowverse and anything starring Jackie Chan is what I'm saying.
a little bit.
Arrowverse. Man, rest in peace to the Arrowverse. Man. The Arrowverse had some good stuff in it. I mean, you know.
All I know is that Solar has done so many good analogies in this show. In this last hour, like we have so many good analogies. It was
because the Halbrand fight they started pushing him around. I was like, here we go. Y'all should have just left him alone. Because it was like we knew. It was like when he broke that dude's arm, I was like, yep, told you. Told you. And then he broke it in a place where you can't like fix it. Like you
Yeah, well, it's very much the TV trope of one, the biggest lesson of Lord of the Rings has always been, to me at least, arrogance will lead to downfall. Because all the rich people that are comfortable, the Númenóreans, the High Elves, the Wood Elves, it's like, yo, guys, orcs are even in the South, yo, orcs are coming back. Nah, we good, we all that. And all the people sitting up going, no, I told you. I told you the elves are coming. Like, when Hot Mom goes up and drops that orc head at the bar saying, yeah, I gotta go. And the thing is, and this is something I learned from the most quotable yet boring movie I've ever seen, The Way of the Gun, is always be afraid of the old gangster. Because I mean, it was like James Caan and Benicio del Toro versus a bunch of other people, or James Caan versus Benicio del Toro, and del Toro's like, no, we can't take him. But he's been doing this a long time, which means he's lived long enough to be doing this a long time. So it's like when suburban kids try going up to the black dude thinking that they know how to fight. And it's like, bro, I spent elementary school in juvie, it's like, oh yeah, you listen to rap and you're thinking that you're gangster. Yeah, meet my cousin Twan. Yeah, he wearing a do-rag. What's up?
But there is that thing with the, even as great as the elves are in this, they struggle with the orcs in this. And I think even they expected, when it comes to hand, they'd be like, oh yeah, I got this. And the orcs were not pushovers. I mean, I guess you can see that there's levels of orcs. You got these little like hunched over, like, I don't know, slimy guys. But then they had the ones that were kind of cut up. Then they've been hitting the gym. I don't know why they don't all make the gym orcs, but still, those ones gave them a very hard time. They didn't just walk through them.
This is the part that the elves keep forgetting. Orcs used to be elves. And they're elves that were tortured and twisted by Morgoth. So it was like, yo, man, you're underestimating me. We went to the same boot camp. I was in class 435. You were in class 432. Like, I remember you. We played some pickup games against each other. What happened? POW camp?
POW camp.
Yeah, I'm a POW, and now you're thinking, oh, he's ugly and hunched over, and his outside says the inside. It's like, I'm evil, but that don't mean I'm unqualified.
True.
But the elves are always going, oh no, they're beneath us. They are orcs. They are this. They are that, and it takes 5,000 years. That's why, like, in the Fellowship of the Ring, they're like, oh, orcs, and Boromir's reaction, and they have a cave troll. Like, man,
because I guess it's because they're always disregarded. It seems like they're always disregarded. Like, how many could there be? Like 1 million? Like, I don't know. There's a whole bunch. Like, I don't know. There's a bunch of them. They're all running around. Like, we got to do something. Like, it's like, it's just a little place of it. No, it's not a little place. Like, they got a whole city underground, man. We got to move now. It's super important.
Yeah, and see, again, history teaches that all the time. Like, there's another show that I watch on the Mayans, and they have this little place called Meth Mountain, where it's this little commune in the middle of the desert, like in the Inland Empire, and it's just full of meth heads.
Wow.
But I don't care how tough you are or how many weapons you got. If you've got 300 people on meth in the same place, it's a problem.
Yeah.
that ain't a fight you gonna win.
Yeah, you don't want that. It's best to probably just run.
Yeah, and I mean, America should have learned that in Vietnam. Like the French learned that in Russia. We're talking like from Napoleon to Germany to like all these. England learned it with us. With the United States, we were the orcs in that position. We're sitting up, running through trees and hiding stuff and leaving little traps, and they're just marching in straight lines. Oh, look at us. We're British. Look at our pointy ear stuff. We're wearing bright clothing. And we like, yeah, no, we got you. All right, take out that line. From the trees, it's dishonorable. Yeah. There are those that fight honorably and those who win. And that's what the orcs really are. So it wasn't until the Fellowship of the Ring that any of the free peoples learn that lesson. Actually, yeah, it wasn't until the War of the Ring where the free peoples learned that lesson, and that's what we're building up to right now. You know, everybody's like, look at us, it's a golden age, everything's nice, everything's fine, everything is this, and it's like, bruh, y'all don't know that threat is right around the corner. Matter of fact, it's right under your feet. Just look down.
Even like he didn't really have time because, of course, Arendir went down in the hole. But after seeing that hole and being like, hold up,
but yeah,
something just wiped out a town and like nobody knows anything. Let me report back real quick before I get my, my sleuth on. All right. Because I mean, you're looking at a town that it seems like everybody just disappeared. And I mean, they did, but I mean, imagine coming up on that and being like, hold on, so where is everybody? There's no dead bodies. There's no nothing. It's just gone.
The movie that showed this right was The 13th Warrior. With the Eaters of the Dead. This is also why I wish anybody at Marvel or Disney has been listening to me for the past 14 years. This is why, like, serious, I'm about to say this, and after this discussion, you guys will be like, you know what? No, I see you. Which is, you know how everybody's been making their pitches for everything, and I'm like, somebody heard my Aquaman pitch, because I'm like, yeah, kaiju. End of the movie, kaiju, because the ocean is dark and full of monsters, and that's what it should be about. Fantastic Four's first villain in their next movie should not be Dr. Doom or Galactus. It should be Mole Man, the dude that swallows buildings in Manhattan. Because underground, seriously, like you're just going down and
villain you wouldn't really see coming because you'd be like, oh, he's not important enough.
And yeah, army of monsters in the underground. They take property. They eat children. Let's bring it. Take care of that for. It's
only four of you. Go.
Yeah, it's only four of you. Here's the army. Here's the underground stuff. And oh, and by the way, the biggest monsters, they're coated in stone. They're all the thing. They're all the thing because they're rock monsters. So yeah, that was my pitch for the Fantastic Four. And people were like, I don't know, man, Mole Man seems kind of stuff. And I'm like, see, no, underground. Like, I know Vietnam vets. I've heard stories. And that kind of thing is horrifying. And I like that this show is really pumping that out. Like, don't get me wrong. I have never been more hood than in that first episode where they first found that hole. I'm like, why are you going in there? Don't go in there. No. I mean, do elves not dig at all? Like,
then Geeky Andre,
that's a big hole.
Yeah, Geeky Andre says, I wonder if the elves in charge would have believed Arendir if he reported about the destroyed town, which is a good question because you have Galadriel.
They would have believed him, but they wouldn't have cared.
And because it would have been like the men deserve that because they sided with Morgoth.
Exactly.
So, but it's like, underground doesn't just stop where they live, right? Underground leads, it leads to us. Like
underground is ground. Ground is
dig
everywhere.
Wherever they want.
Yeah. See, there's not a place that there isn't ground. The sea has a ground.
It's a ground. All right. Thanks everybody for rolling through. I'm gonna throw it to Jay for final thoughts, and where can they find you?
Final thoughts. I'm still into this show. I like House of the Dragon a little bit better, but I like that type of thing a little bit better. But I'm still into the show. I still like it. I still dig it, and I'm still gonna keep watching. All the hate that it gets is to me ridiculous. Like you're not even 3 shows in. Like, give me a break. Like, what are you talking about?
We know where that hate's coming from. Don't think into what they're saying.
Yeah.
We know what
we
they
already
mean.
know.
Exactly. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I don't have a lot of other thoughts beyond that because I'm just here for the ride. And I think they're doing a good job of like, the internet wants every question answered every week. And I think they're doing a good job of, we got blurry Adar, but like that is to get us the next week. I'm okay with that. And you can find me at the Story Geek. So check out the Story Geeks YouTube channel, Story Geeks podcast. I'm on hiatus because I haven't been feeling great. So I've been doing very few shows. I've got a couple things planned, but I'm on hiatus, but I'll be back there probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks. And you can check out all my content there or follow me at Jay Shear SHERER on Twitter.
Cool. And Solar Gray, final thoughts? How you feeling, and where can they find you?
Real talk. Final thoughts on this episode. I enjoyed more of it than I thought I would. Not gonna lie, with the almost hobbits or the proto hobbits, I was a little bored. With the proto hobbits. I got Bender in my head the entire time going, let's go already,
I agree with that, by the way. That's a good comment.
Yeah, I agree. I will agree.
Yeah.
But I was more compelled with the Galadriel storyline this week than I was last week. So that's good. I was kind of going, what's up with Elrond? No, Elrond and Celebrimbor is building a tower. What's going on over there? Because I know what's coming because of the lore. So I'm like, is that close to happening? And they're like, what's going on over there? Let's see what's going on in that tower. That tower is super important. But quite honestly, the stories they did focus on were decent, except for the little Hobbit thing. I like that they're giving the story time to breathe. Except for the hobbits, they're taking too much time to breathe. I'm like, I get it. Y'all having 11sies right now, but make it a sandwich, eat on the road. But yeah, when I took a look, I'm like, this episode, I was glad that it was an hour, but it felt like an hour. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you. I like House of the Dragon better. And so far, that show hasn't felt like I was watching an hour show.
Agreed.
Deep Space Nine didn't feel like it was an hour long. Strange New Worlds don't feel like an hour. And this one was
I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. But this one, I'm like, oh, there's another 20 minutes left. I don't know what to say. Let's go already. All right.
You want to know why?
Leave her.
Because the little hobbits, the almost hobbits, the hobbit cousins, whatever. You cut that out, I'm cool.
I'm not even saying cutting it out. I'm just saying accelerate it a little bit. I don't need to hear all the chattering. I don't need to hear the aunties in the kitchen. You know what I mean? I'm like, give me more with the girl, give me more with the giant. Even give me more with the old man. Definitely give me more with Nori's parents. I'm liking the whole Nori's parents thing. I like their dynamic very much. But I'm just like, I get it. Like, again, since I know you and I are Trekkies and we go on that, but so far the Nori and her stories are feeling a lot like the Ferengi plot lines in Deep Space Nine.
I'm not going to do the Ferengi that bad. I prefer those. I prefer those plot lines even to.
Yeah. So
we just gotta go somewhere. We gotta go. We gotta. Yeah.
I'm like
with the baby hobbits. We just gotta move. We gotta move.
Well, the thing that I think it causes me the cognitive dissonance is they're talking about being a caravan. So they're talking a lot about being left behind. They're talking about being the caravan and being in motion. And we're watching them sit still for a long time. I'm like,
well, that and you've got everywhere else is massive amounts of conflicts. Right? Like you're in the prison, it's crazy. You're in front of the queen and Galadriel's mouthing off. There's massive conflict. So in Lord of the Rings, the movies, at least, when you saw the hobbits, there was a lot of physical harm that could be done to them at any point in time.
Yes.
But with this crew, there's no physical harm. Like there's no threat of physical harm. So there's no conflict. The only conflict is like, exactly. So when you throw us into that, since there's not a lot of conflict, it's got to move faster. because we know there's other conflict out there, and we can't wait to see that.
Yeah, we'd rather be watching that. You know, okay, I'm gonna say this and I'll be done. And then, you know, you can tell them where they can find you. The Hobbit scene, or the Hobbit people scenes, the Brandyfoot scenes, or whatever their name is, those are the scenes in the Godzilla films when they cut away to the humans. That's what it is. It's like, no. You know whose name is on the movie, right? We paid to see Godzilla. Like, why are we?
That's why Godzilla versus Kong worked.
Let's watch humans watch the fight. No, we want to watch the fight.
If I wanted that, I'd watch a reaction video.
Like, I want to. Come on, man, show us the fight.
Yeah, and but that was very much the thing. But the other two stories were so strong that I'm willing to tune back in. You know, because they were strong. I'm interested to see Mr. Fuzzy Pointy Ears. I'm definitely interested to see Elrond talking with the dwarves more. I want to see if Halbrand is going to die, or does he become the mouth of Sauron? Does he become a ring wraith? Like, you know, why, like, the other characters are more compelling, and I'm following stuff with the characters, but Nori and her girl are not compelling enough to me for me to go, oh, I see. Well, what's going on with these dumb teenagers? Yeah, let's take a look. Like, you know, they're not having the Breakfast Club moment. And much like the like I said, it's like the whole Four Humors thing. The Ninja Turtles were reflected in the Hobbits. You know, you had all four of them. And Nori and what's her name is very much like, you know, it answers a question no one asks, which is, what would the Lord of the Rings been like if it was just Pippin and Sam?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, yeah, no. No, Pippin needed Mary and Frodo needed Sam. You know, that was the whole thing. Like, I would watch an adventure between Sam and Pippin, but that adventure would be them sitting around a bar talking about how they just can't stand having to look out for Frodo and Pippin. You know, just, you know. And do you not know I had to put on that ring and kill a spider? Oh man, dude, when Pippin touched that thing and it was like, dude, get out of Rohan. Like, seriously, man. But they are people and we love them, right? Yeah, I guess we do. You know, one of those. Yeah, that's I would like to see that as a short, not as a series.
Yeah.
You know, and what I got now is I got Pippin and Sam on their little adventure inside Hobbiton. And I'm just like, I don't really need, or Hobbiton on the road, except it took 3 episodes for them to get on the road. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, you're right. This is the 3rd episode and they're just now getting on the road.
You know, so this one, I'm going to give a solid pair to. It's not a 3 of a kind. Okay. It's just enough to make sure you don't fold. Because, you know, they haven't done the turn or you know, any of the other cards, but you got yourself a solid pair. You know, you got like a solid pair of 6s, you know, and you're like, all right, I got a pair of 6s, this something else could come up from this, so I won't fold right now.
Yeah.
You know, but if by the time the turn card hits, yeah, you know what, I might even hold on to the river, but I don't see myself winning, you know. So that's a big thing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. But if y'all want to know more, my Twitch channel is on hiatus for about another week. Again, this heat wave is broke, so my equipment isn't always hot to the touch, but there's some changes happening down here at the Wizards Tower. But you can find the archive over at twitch.tv/BID_P and on Solar Gray's YouTube channel. Okay, we have hours of content, and I'll probably be uploading a lot more, like the past 3 years of podcasts, onto SoundCloud /BidP very soon. So I'm out there.
Cool.
So, yeah, that is most definitely a thing. Nice. All right, so yeah, and this has been great, man. This has been great. You know, I needed this. I needed this. you know.
What? Well,
So
for me, final thoughts. I really need the Hobbit thing to do something, but if the Hobbit thing doesn't do anything, cool. Just maybe have them do stuff in the background that we don't have to see. The orcs, yes, I love it. The water thing, I had a ball watching that. That was great. Even the kind of like Galadriel part, I was digging it. She still doesn't know how to act in when she's behind enemy lines, but
hopefully she gonna learn this
behind
season.
enemy lines with not even like, I don't know, like a slingshot. But I still like the story that we went on with that. But yes, more orcs and evilness. I'm ready for it. So shouts out to Geeky Andre, Blurtish, Jenna James, ZSB Lou. I think someone else came in, but I might have missed it. But hold up. I said Geeky Andre. If I didn't say it, I've said it again. But anyway, if I missed your name, it's not on purpose. Anyone getting your lurk on, thank you for coming through. NERDSoul, NERDSoul, Hip Hop and Geek. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz. Thank you for hanging with us. We have D23 news tomorrow and Cobra Kai on Tuesday. And then Freestyle Comics Convention, virtual and in person next weekend. And I'll be on like 3 panels. So it'll be a lot of fun, a whole bunch of fun. If you're not part of the email list, go to the site or message me or whatever. I'll put you on there so you can be on it. But until next time, from us to you, thank you for watching. Watch some Rings of Power. Watch some Lord of the Rings. Answer my question that I'm asking you. And come, I know. Come on, I know. You was late, but you gonna make it. All right. So are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sure? All right. Say I love all y'all.
Love all y'all.
See, you can't just go close and stuff. You gotta say I love all y'all.
Love all.
So y'all be good.
Y'all be good.
So I miss y'all.
I miss y'all.
Until it's next time.
Next time. Peace.
Now, I remember. Hold up. Gotta go slow.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, here we go.
Not yet.
Oh man, thank you for rolling through.
can't do it, then maybe you should let someone who can, like me.